Yes, Mr. Speaker. Would the chairman yield for a question?
He will yield, I believe. Yes, he will.
Yes,
I don't want to speak for you, Chairman, but you always yield.
no, I'm here, yeah. That's okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman, you had indicated that you had taken the scoops wherever there was a surplus of money. Was that the only contributing factor to taking money from different departments?
Oh, you saying that said that we took scoops
Yeah,
for...
with Mike, you said that, Representative Chippendale, you had indicated that you had taken money from departments where there were surpluses.
We had 2 or 3 parts of a scheme that we used to make sure we stayed on tracks. Scoops were just one of them. If a department had more money than they were going to need in the next, 1 or 2 or 3 years, we did that. Normally, we don't mess with scoops. Usually, we're the group that's putting scoops back. But at a point like this, we had to look at that. The other was that if there was overspending or underspending. So as far as the scoops were concerned, we looked at every organization that, that had a surplus, but I don't know if you had one in particular, but yeah, we looked at all of them. It wasn't just, here's one. Some had a lot more than others.
Okay, and one other question. Did you collaborate with the department heads before to let them know that this money was going to be withdrawn from their department?
We collaborated with the executive branch, and the executive branch is where these organizations were. That's what I was saying before. It wasn't just my committee, but it was that of the Senate, and we also negotiated with several members of the governor's staff whose responsibility was over the people who had the departments. So yes, they knew that the scoops were coming out, but I didn't personally call them and say, I'm going to scoop from you. When we were in negotiations, I would let the governor's staff know, and we went back and forth on that.
Okay. Okay.
So it's an important question, but I understand what you're saying, but yeah.
All right, I just have one more question. I'm not sure if Leader Shikachi can answer this one or you did. On the infrastructure bank, you're transferring about $17.8 million out of the infrastructure bank. And my question is, you had indicated that the federal funds may replenish that. Do we know that for a fact?
No, we don't know what if we might get nothing. It really depends on Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump. So if you can help, we'll gladly take it.
Okay. Well, the reason why I'm asking is because the infrastructure bank is very important to our constituents and our communities.
Mine in particular, Warwick uses them a lot. So I really feel for that. But they have done, Jeff Dial, who runs it, and their team have done a tremendous job, and they've generated, I don't want to use the word surplus, but at least a temporary surplus. So we're going to use it. Hopefully they can make it up, but hopefully we can help them come the next budget.
Right. And if we do get federal funds, it can legally go back into that, or we don't know that?
Let me be very honest. It really, I mean, all seriousness, it really depends on what, if we get it, and what restrictions they have. When we received federal money this past March from Washington, let's be bipartisan, just say Washington, there were a tremendous amount of restrictions on that. We had Treasurer Magaziner, we had the governor's people, and then we had our financial people, the Senate's financial people, and we were on conference calls with the U.S. Treasury of what can be spent and what can't be spent. We consulted with our congressional delegation. The money that we received was very strict in what it could be. The new money, if it comes, we'd have to wait and see, Representative, what restrictions, if any. I am hopeful, and I speak to Senator Reed's office on a regular basis, and I'll throw a number of 66% that we will be getting something. The question is how much and what restrictions, if any. So we simply just do not know, and I don't want to mislead anybody that we're going to get a bunch of money in July and it's all going to flow back. That's not the case yet. We just simply do not know the answer to that.
I just find that number a little concerning. That's a lot of money to be drawn from the infrastructure bank.
It is a lot, but I will tell you that there's a top-notch crackerjack team there, and if any agency can withstand that and still thrive, it's Jeff Dial and his group there. They are very, very good. It's one of the fairly few areas of state government that works at a high performance level, and they do a fabulous job.
All right. Thank you. Thanks.
Speaker. Oh, thanks. You know what? I don't normally do this, but in terms of what the leader was saying, About 2 weeks ago, myself and another gentleman from Mississippi, who is chairperson of their appropriations committee, testified before a fiscal staff conference of the U.S. Senate. And both of us were advocating for exactly what you're talking about, and that is that if the Senate, first of all, we said it's timely that the Senate acts, or the Congress acts. But if you do, give us the ability to make some local decisions about what we do with our money. That's why we're to some degree, we're in the shape that we're in. So we're working all of those. But knowing that, it helped us formulate ideas about where we could get, sums of money and then be able to have choices of whether or not to put that back or not. So that was on our minds. It wasn't just the infrastructure bank, because they do a great job, has a bunch of money and we took it. So I just
Thank
want you
you,
to know
Chairman.
we're working on it in several ways.
Thank you, Chairman.